Welcome to the show, everybody. My name is Mark Farzy. This is the Farzy Show presented by our friends there at MyBookie, mybookie.ag. Nice to have you along for the ride, Phillies. Well, we're getting what we asked for, and that is the Atlanta Braves coming to town in 2 games. And I guess it would be Tuesday. We might see our first action there in South Philadelphia. Can't wait for it. They start Saturday in Atlanta, and this Marlins series went so much better than I expected. I don't want to be a Debbie Downer. I always want to be real with you, and whenever you try to do real talk, people accuse you of being negative, and I'm not being negative. I'm just trying to be real. I did not trust Aaron Nola last night. I did not trust Aaron Nola even a little bit. And Aaron Nola went out there and flipped that switch that I'd been talking about that didn't really exist. Well, it seemed to have existed for Aaron Nola. We'll hear from him a little bit later in the show. He made a mechanical change over his last handful of starts, and that seems to have been breeding better numbers from him and much better outings from him, something we hadn't really seen from him throughout this entire season. And to go through it, if you go through the entire year of Aaron Nola, the third worst ERA of his career, Aaron Nola went out there and did something he had only done once this entire season. Give you 7 scoreless innings. He gave you 7 scoreless innings against the Tampa Bay Rays back on the 4th of July. And then he gave up a run in the 8th inning before he was taken out. That's the only other time this year he went 7 scoreless. He went 7 innings allowing no earned runs in his no-hit attempt where he went 7 innings against the Detroit Tigers. But he gave up those 3 runs. They were unearned on the Nick Maton home run. But still, that was still only 6 scoreless innings before they got to him in the 7th. 7 scoreless last night from Aaron Nola. 3 hits, 1 walk. That is unbelievable when considering throughout the entire year, his best start against the Marlins was 5 2/3, 4 runs. That was his best start. In 3 attempts to have good starts against the Marlins, he had to wait for number 4. And that was in the playoffs. So I don't know if it's a mechanical thing that he just changed. That's what he talked about after the game. Or if it was just that focus, laser focus. He also said after the game that when Zach Wheeler goes out and has the start that he had, he wants to make sure he follows it up and dunks it. It was like an alley-oop was right there for him. Slam dunk, Aaron Nola. And he was masterful last night. You saw it in the first inning. His 2 strikeouts in the first inning. Knuckle curveballs were fantastic. Just dominant. He was helped. I'm not going to act like he wasn't helped. Both pitchers were really helped last night. All pitchers were really helped last night by home plate umpire Doug Eddings. Very generous man when it came to the strike zone. I will say that much. And it did go both ways. I will say with Aaron Nola, it seemed a little bit more helpful. A little bit more helpful for Aaron Nola. And there were innings with Aaron Nola that you just thought, okay, here it comes. This is the Aaron Nola. He's done great for 3 innings. He's going to get gotten 2 in the 4th. He's done great for 4 innings. He got gotten in the 6th. You know, it's going to be that kind of thing with Aaron Nola where you fear that blow-up inning is coming. You fear that blow-up inning is coming. And last night, it was on the doorstep. You had 2 runners on, first and second. 1 out, I believe, was the situation. Caleb Cotham comes out. Hey, everybody, how's everybody feeling? Aaron Nola, slow it down a little bit. He talked about after the game how the pitch clock does affect him. And he also talked about how whenever you have an opportunity to slow the game down, you do it. And there were a couple of instances where they were able to slow the game down for just at least a second or 2. And he just continued his dominance. There were issues throughout the game, and you thought maybe this is where that blow-up inning has. Maybe this is where he unravels a little bit. Could have been earlier in the game with that ball going off Pache's mitt in left center field. It didn't happen. They just kept the focus, and they found ways out of the jam. And he didn't get into too many of them last night, but whenever he had his back against the wall, and he pitched his way out of it, and his defense helped him out as well. JT Realmuto. I love this line from Aaron Nola after the game. He said after the game, it didn't matter what JT put down because everything felt good. Oh, that's where you know you got it. That's where you know Zach Wheeler looked nasty in game 1 of this series, and then Aaron Nola just continued. Whatever vibes were coming out of that mound last night, whatever vibes were coming out of that stadium last night, it was all going right to Aaron Nola. And right to the happy place he needed to go to in his brain to make sure that he was staying laser focused throughout his 7 innings last night. And it transferred from Zach Wheeler's start right to Aaron Nola. They were picture perfect back to back. Skip Schumacher referred to it after the game, Marlins manager after the game, about how this 1-2 punch is as good as any 1-2 punch you're going to face in the playoffs. Talk about being built for the playoffs. This is built for the playoffs, baby. This is built for the playoffs, and they proved it in this series here against the Marlins. Now I got to keep it going against the Braves. I expected the Phillies to win the series. I thought it was going to go 3 games. Aaron Nola, I said before I said during the show last night, I said before the game, this is a situation for Aaron Nola. Show me I can trust you. Show me that I can look at the 1-2 punches, Zach Wheeler and Aaron Nola. I can trust you. And he certainly showed me that last night. Absolutely amazing performance from Aaron Nola. We have not really seen a lot of that Aaron Nola this season. If this is going to be if this is going to be how he rewrites his season, I'm all for it. I talked about it last night on Fighting's postgame on the JAKIB Media YouTube channel about how the Phillies right now are in a situation where they're looking at Aaron Nola and they're saying, all right, well, we want to work out a deal here. We'd love to have you back, but it's not going to be for a lot of money considering a regular season. And then Aaron Nola goes out there and he dominates in the postseason. If this is the start of a dominant postseason run, we've seen this before. Kurt Schilling made a career out of doing this for a long time. Yeah, okay, regular season. And then the playoffs, just forget about it. Just absolutely insane. Lights out. If that's the way you see it, if that's the way you see it unfolding for Aaron Nola, I am all for it. And this was the start last night of something great. Really, as we had talked about, his last 3 starts of the regular season, everything trending in the right direction. Said he was just trying to stay squared more, trying to not go across his body as much and be able to locate his fastball a little bit better and make sure everything was a little bit more on point. And when you say after a game like that everything was working, it didn't matter what was being asked of you, what pitch was being asked to throw, it was just on point. Everything from him last night. So we'll go through the game in its entirety from last night. We'll talk about this lineup. We'll talk about Bryson Stott's grand slam. In both games, it felt like you weren't done. And you felt like you were going to add a little bit more. And then in game 1, you get Bryce Harper scoring from first on that double by Nick Castellanos and going through the stop sign from Dusty Wathan. And in this game, it didn't feel like the Phillies were done, and Bryson Stott got the grand slam. Sitting on a first pitch fastball, it tailed in a little bit. He put that short swing on it and just blasted it to right center field for the home run. For the grand slam, excuse me. It was awesome. And hearing that beautiful sound of Citizens Bank Park explode. Oh, man, I can't wait for it to come back. Can't wait for it to come back in Game 3 of the NLDS against the Braves again. This is one run. One run over the 13 2/3 from your starting pitching. That's it's pretty damn good. That is pretty damn good. Very excited about that. And then 2 runs overall in the 2 series. That's pretty special. Gregory Soto, what the hell, man? You had the shutout for everybody right there. Everything was good. Everything was great. Also on today's program, we're going to get into Jalen Hurts, his media session yesterday, his press conference yesterday. One of the things that has come up with this season with Jalen Hurts is the running ability and why he's not running as much. I don't classify this as, you always wanted him to stop running. Now he's not running, and now you want him to run. I can only speak for myself. I don't like speaking for other people. I can only speak for myself. I never wanted Jalen Hurts to run less. I just wanted him to be safe. If you're going to run, get out of bounds. If you're going to run, slide. If you're going to scramble and there's nothing there, throw the ball away. Don't try to fight for that 1 yard or whatever it might be. If you're going to get in a goal line situation, maybe not go brotherly shove right out of the gate. I've said this many times. You guys have heard me say it. I'm not going to go into it too much. But this year, it definitely looks like he is not running as much. Another situation I pointed out is that you never saw Jalen Hurts sit in the pocket for 5 or 6 seconds the way he did in 2 different occasions against the Tampa Bay Buccaneers without taking off. And I'm fine with that. But he was asked yesterday about not running as much this year. And we'll let you hear what he has to say about that. Also, the Eagles officially added Bradley Roby to their secondary. We'll see if he is with the club in Los Angeles This weekend, I hope that he is, because that would mean he is most likely your nickel corner, and James Bradberry is not. We let you hear from Sean Desai yesterday about how he is taken away from a guy who is highly valuable as an outside corner and making him your slot corner and downgrading essentially 2 positions for the price of 1. Well, Roby should be a guy to come in here and help you out dramatically in that sense. And Nick Sirianni talked about that yesterday. Not sure as to whether or not he'll be able to help you come this weekend against the LA Rams. So we'll see where that goes. But let's get into this game last night and what the Phillies had going on for themselves, because it was absolutely fantastic. Started off there in the first inning. I mentioned those knuckle curves that were working so well with Aaron Nola. Just beautiful. First and foremost, started out exactly as it did in game 1. You get a line drive to left field. Pache's there to make the play. No problem. Soler then steps up to the plate, strikes out on a knuckle curve. Bell then strikes out on a knuckle curve. A 15-pitch first inning for Aaron Nola. Going to the first inning, Phillies had really nothing doing. Going to the second inning, Chisholm goes up there and grounds out to first. Berger goes up and grounds out to third. De La Cruz flies out to left field. Warning track power. In that instance, when I saw the contact at the plate, I thought, wow, here we go. Aaron Nola, a home run. Go figure. By the way, in his 3 starts against the Marlins during the course of the regular season, 3 starts, he'd given up 5 home runs. 3 starts, 5 home runs. That's not good. This start, no home runs. So that worked out rather well. Then in the second inning, Phillies couldn't get anything going, unfortunately. Third inning, Sanchez starts off by flying out to left field. Then Birdie goes up there and gets the double to left center. That's the ball that went out of Pache's mitt. I've been hearing Patchy. They've been talking about Patchy in the national broadcast. Pache is how I like to say it. Anyway, it goes off Pache's mitt in left center field. Birdie standing on second with 1 out. Stallings comes up to the plate for the Marlins. They had something on, because Birdie's going from second to third and Nola picks him off. So the way it was discussed, the way it looked, was that they were kind of baiting Birdie a little bit, and they were able to pick him off at third, going from second to third. So now you got 2 outs in the inning and nobody on. Problem, runner in scoring position. Nola finds a way out of it. He ends up getting Stallings to ground out to third to end that inning. So no harm, no foul. Going to the bottom of the third inning, Pache's able to lead off with a walk. Then you have Rojas comes up. He strikes out on a slider. Did not have the bunt on there for Johan Rojas. Kyle Schwarber steps up to the plate. Gets an RBI double, smacks the ball down the right field line. It's 1-0. Trey Turner steps up, gets the RBI single off of Garrett on an 0-2 pitch, gets an 0-2 fastball, puts it right back up the middle, off the pitcher's hip. You get Turner plating Kyle Schwarber. In that instance, it's a 2-0 Phillies lead. Going to the fourth inning, Arise leads off with grounding out to first. Then Soler flies out to left on a 1-pitch at bat, so he helps their pitcher out right there, and then Bell grounds out to second. An 8-pitch shutdown inning. This is the moment that I thought Aaron Nola really had the good stuff. Now, we've seen him come out, pitch very well in the first inning, and it's great. In that fourth inning, the fact that the Phillies got him a 2-run lead, I wanted to see that shutdown inning. Not only did he have a shutdown 1-2-3 inning, he had an 8-pitch 1-2-3 shutdown inning. 8-pitch inning. Shutdown indeed. Then you go into the fourth inning. JT Realmuto makes his old team pay, gets a 2-2 cutter down and in, and he just wallops that baseball 404 feet to left field. It's a 3-0 ball game at this point. Going to the fifth inning, Chisholm starts off again by striking out. That was the changeup that was outside. It was a bad call by Doug Eddings. But as I put it out there on social media, you are a kind and decent man, Doug Eddings. Thank you very much for that. Rings up Chisholm on that one. Then Berger gets the 1-out single. De La Cruz just missed a 3-1 sink. Middle of the plate, 3-1 sinker, swung over top of it. He was sitting on it, and he missed it. Fine by me. But he ended up working the only walk Aaron Nola would issue last night. So now you got a runner on first and second in the fifth inning. First and second with 1 out. Sanchez goes up there and he grounds into the 6-3 double play. Things slowed down. had a little mound conference. Things slowed down at that point. And that's when Aaron Nola said, he told JT, put down whatever because everything feels good. And they were able to get the double play and get out of it. So it remains a 3-0 ball game. Then you go into the 6th inning. Nola's at 61 pitches, only 61 pitches. He hits Birdie to start things off. And then he gets Stallings to ground into the 6-4-3 double play. And he's able to get out of it. Another double play induced there by Aaron Nola to get out of a little bit of a jam. In the 6th inning, you're still kind of feeling, all right, just keep adding runs. In the 6th inning, Bohm leads it off with the double to left. Then you have Robertson, who had actually pitched the previous 3 innings. He gets taken out of the game. Nardi goes in. He immediately walks Bryce Harper. You have first and second with nobody out. Real Muto pops out to first. Castellanos reaches on the E5 on Birdie. The ball just hit off the heel of his mitt when he tried to backhand it up the third base line. Now you got the bases loaded with 1 out. Bryson Stott steps to the plate. Everything is okay. Okay. First pitch swinging, fastball inside right center field for the grand slam. Bat spike. Everybody goes bananas. I'm jumping up and down at home, enjoying the hell out of myself. I'm sure you were doing the same thing. Bryce is such an easy guy to root for. And he blasted that grand slam to give the Phillies a 7-0 lead in the 6th inning of that game. And it was like, at that point, it was bring on the Braves. Bring on the Braves. Going to the 7th inning, Aaron Nola's back out there for the 7th inning. Soler goes up there, he gets a single to lead things off. So again, a leadoff runner reaches right there to start the 7th inning. And then Bell grounds into the 3-6 force out, the fielder's choice, excuse me. Chisholm lines out to center field. Warning track power. That ball was a 3-2 fastball high in the zone, if I remember the location correctly, but 3-2 fastball high in the zone. And Chisholm goes up there and just blasts it. And I thought, all right, well, here's the home run. He was bound to give up a home run. He wasn't getting 7 scoreless. And Rojas, feeling for the wall, makes the catch. Beautiful. He gets out of that one. Very next batter, Berger, goes up to the ground into the 5-4 fielder's choice as well. That would be Nola's night. 8th inning, Orion Kerkering comes into the ballgame. 3 innings in the regular season. 3 innings in the regular season, all in the last week of September. And all of a sudden, presto changeo, he's in your bullpen in the playoffs. And he cruised. We talked about Nola's 8-pitch 4th inning. How about a 9-pitch top of the 8th inning for Orion Kerkering? Orion, Orion goes out there, gets De La Cruz to fly out to left. Sanchez strikes out on a nasty sweeper. Good God, man. I mean, I don't like to say the bottom dropped out of a sweeper, but the bottom dropped. It was labeled a sweeper. It looked almost more like a forkball than anything. Yeah, it was a great pitch either way. Sanchez struck out, swinging over top of it. Then Birdie flies out to center. 9-pitch inning. Gregory Soto comes in the 9th and unfortunately allows a run. Thanks. Had a shutout going. Anyway, it was just something special, man. Jamie Moyer coming out throwing the – if you would have told me – and I know people were commenting on this on social media. If you would have told me that Jamie Moyer was now a dairy farmer, I'd believe you. He comes out of the overalls, and I'm just like, that looks right. That looks about right. And that really helps set the tone. Seeing Charlie Manuel tweet out before the game, tweet out how he had batting practice for physical therapy yesterday. That was cool. Just seeing pictures of Charlie getting better is fantastic as well. Just everything went into the good vibes. Everything went into the good vibes last night going into this game. And now we have what we all wanted, to bring on the Braves. I don't know what it is about the Braves. I was trying to crack this code last night during the postgame show. I was trying to crack the code. What is it about the Braves? Is it just the fact that they're always good and it's always good to beat a good team? I have this. I don't know what it is. God, what was it? I was like outsiders beating the socials. What was that? Was that the other group, that like the rich kids? Like, that's what it feels like when you beat the Braves. I don't know why, but it just feels like that. And maybe it was the 93 High Hopes documentary. And you had like Kurt Schilling spitting in the direction of the Braves and John Kruk saying like, oh, yeah, we belong on the same field as this team. You know? And it just feels great to beat the Braves. And I love the idea that the last time you saw the Braves, you were winning. You were winning in Atlanta. The Marlins, you weren't winning. You lost your last series of the season to the Marlins, and then you bounced right back for the postseason. So now it's a matter of keeping the good vibes going from the regular season and making sure you win this series against the Braves. Braves had another incredible year. I would love to see the regular season again not matter in beating up on the Braves. And right now, this Phillies team, it looks like a force. Lineup-wise, pitching-wise, Suarez probably gets the start in Game 3 on Saturday. But this team just looks like it's ready for anything. I mean, you heard, I think it was Carl Ravitch last night. Two things that jumped out last night about how, two things from Carl Ravitch. One was that this team looks like a buzzsaw. Like this team, the city, the stadium, the team itself just looks like you got to face this. Good luck to you. It's very rare that we get such accolades as a fan base in Philadelphia. So I'm just going to embrace the hell out of it for a while. And Carl Ravitch was giving us our flowers throughout the 2-game series here against the Marlins. The other thing that he got into yesterday was, what was the other thing? Oh, the baby Kruk shirt. Did you see this? If you didn't see it, it was hysterical. The baby Kruk shirt. I'm ready. I'm making a note. It's in between. I think it's in between batters at this point. I'm making a note. I hear Carl Ravitch talk about the baby Kruk T-shirt that became popular at some point this season, and he's like, "Oh, look at that, the baby Kruk shirt." And I'm thinking, "Oh, he's talking about the baby Kruk shirt. That's cool. Let's get a shout out the baby Kruk shirt. That's great." And then I look up and I see this lovely young lady. Well, first I don't even see her. I just see the chiseled abs, and I'm like, this lady in this red football jersey, cut off football jersey, she does her crunches. Good for her. You know, she doesn't really pack on the carbs as somebody, right? So anyway, she's standing there, and Carl Ravitch keeps on talking about the baby Kruk shirt, and I'm like, dude, you're not talking about the baby Kruk shirt. And so then they start panning out, and it is a lovely young lady, and I just remember thinking Kruk. I remember thinking Carl. You're not looking at the baby Kruk shirt, you sly dog, you. And sure enough, the next thing I hear him say is, "Ooh, yeah, look at that." I'm like, "Ooh, geez, Carl, come on. Try to be a little more smooth, pal." Yeah, he wasn't looking at the guy in the Kruk shirt. He was looking at the lady. Anyway, I tweeted that out. I X'd it out. I posted it on the old social media there. And some people were telling me that the lady has her own little account on a platform that I'm not on, a social media platform that I'm actually not on, at least not yet. You know what I'm saying? Anyway, so yeah, good for him. It's all my time left. Just if you want to indulge, by all means. But a Nebraska shirt? Maybe she's a fan of Alec Boe? The Omaha, Nebraska connection? I don't know. So there you go. Phillies got the win. We're all excited, and all is right with the world. Before I go any further, one thing that was really cool. Actually, let's hear from Aaron Nola first. Aaron Nola on his start last night and what had been working and what had changed over his last 3 quality starts in a row, something he hadn't done since April, which is impressive that he's put it together now. And he's now had 4 consecutive starts where he has not allowed more than 2 runs. So it's actually gone, I believe, 2 runs, 1 run, now no runs. So it's trending in even the best possible direction. Aaron Nola on the start last night.
So well, I just honestly try to be more square to the plate, keep my shoulders square. I felt like I was getting too rotational, and I was losing sight of my balls consistently throughout my games, which kind of led to pulling balls and curveball kind of inconsistent, and the balls getting away from me. So really just tried to keep my shoulders square and kind of step straight to the target. Nothing crazy, but I guess over the time it kind of got away from me. So just tried to simplify that.
Whatever you got to do. It always amazes me, these little things that guys will tweak to make sure that they're either pulling focus or they're just more accurate. Who would have thought? Just, you got to stop going across my body and all stuff. Bryson Stott talked about the ability to hit fastballs. And now it was something that he really struggled with last season. And now all of a sudden he got in the cage with K-Long and his batting practice pitcher out west. And it was just something that he worked on. And there's a couple of tweaks here and there. And then off you go. Next thing you know, you're hitting grand slams in the playoffs. Not too shabby. I don't know what it is there, Nola. I think I was never a pitcher. I can't break down the mechanics for you. But whatever makes him feel more comfortable out there, and you see the proof in the pudding, yeah, man, just keep it going. Just keep it going. Bryson Stott also addressed the media yesterday. Now, this was awesome. He hits the grand slam, spikes the bat, and then apparently he blacked out the second he just stepped foot in the batter's box, because Buster Olney even caught up with him after it in the dugout, and he was just like, what happened there? He's like, no memory, but it's pretty cool. He had no idea what the hell just happened. He just knows he got a fastball in, and he turned on it pretty much. And after that, everything's a blur. He doesn't even remember doing the bat spike. But here is Bryson Stott on his celebration following his grand slam in the 6th inning yesterday.
This year that people look back on, and it's on highlight reels for a long time, the grand slam.
Haven't really thought that far ahead. I mean, I didn't really know I even did the bat spike. Stubby told me, and I mean, I don't usually pimp home runs. I don't think I hit them far enough to do that. So it just kind of got caught up in the moment, I guess, and yeah.
If you played any sport and you ever had a great moment, you do just black out. I mean, it's certainly not maybe you didn't have a grand slam in an MLB postseason game or anything, but I'm sure you've just been like, what the hell just happened? That was awesome, right? You just remember the euphoria of it. That's what he was going through yesterday. I mean, people compare him, and rightfully so, if you're talking about styles and visually things he does. His swing is like a carbon copy of Chase Utley. That short stroke, guys with that short. Mike Schmidt had the same type of thing, and I hate to mention names that are so loved and put any type of pressure on Bryson Stott, but he doesn't give a damn. He's one of those guys who's like, yeah, whatever. And I talked about that yesterday with different sports, and a guy like Orion Kirkring seems to have that same type of, yeah, whatever, just put me in, yeah, I'll pitch. Is that what you want me to do? Yeah, whatever, okay, whatever. Bryson Stott, I think, has that same type of idea. Chase Utley, Mike Schmidt, that type of swing, yeah, whatever. He's got that type of swing. I don't know if he'll ever be like a 30 home run guy, but that swing, that short stroke certainly is right there. And how about that? I don't normally pimp my home runs because I don't hit them far enough. That was a 404-foot home run. Actually, 414. Did I really not take a note? I usually take a note on that. 412 foot. It looked like it was off the facing of the second deck. Like, that was out there, man. That was out there. But I don't usually pimp home runs, so I don't even remember what happened. Stubbsy had to tell me what I did. Oh, man. That was pretty special last night. Here's one more on Stubbs. Just talking about, I think this is what he had been working on.
Or you've come.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, last year it was a tough go with the fastball, and it didn't take much rewatching of film to kind of realize what I needed to do in the offseason, and just getting with K-Long and my BP thrower back home, it was throw everything up, and did a lot of left-handed stuff, which is my top hand, one-arm swings, one-handed T-drills, and just stuff like that to really make sure I'm using it, since I throw right-handed, and that's my kind of dominant and lead arm. So being able to use that is big.
Hard work pays off. Hard work pays off. Oh, man. I'm on cloud nine with this team right now. I can't wait for Saturday. Today, tomorrow, and during the day on Saturday, I am going to be waiting with great anticipation. They still haven't put out a time yet? That is hogwash. Absolute hogwash. How could you not be excited? It's a beautiful sound of Citizens Bank Park exploding at a grand slam. Spectacular. Every ounce of it, folks. Every single ounce of it. Hey, the Eagles are playing football this weekend. They just added a new corner. I'll spare you from the head coach from yesterday. Nick Sirianni just talked about the versatility that Bradley Roby brings to the table, a lot of experience. Won a Super Bowl with the Broncos. Has played inside and outside, so he's got a lot he can bring to the table here as far as experience goes. For me, this, I'm hoping, is the deal that pushes James Bradbury on the outside. Not that I thought he was god awful, but he's just better at playing the outside. I think we all know that. I don't want – the only time it made sense to me was, as I said yesterday, was against the Buccaneers, and you just knew that Mike Evans was going to get a lot of opportunities across the middle of the field, and you wanted to make sure you had somebody in there in the slot that could take that away from him. And for the most part, I thought James Bradbury did a good job of doing that. When you're having the 60 yards, that's a pretty good day for you as a secondary if you're holding Mike Evans to around 60 yards. This will be an opportunity now for the Eagles to take more of an advantage. Plus, you're going to need help in the secondary coming up against Nakua with the way Matt Stafford's been throwing the ball to him, and also the idea of Cooper Kupp coming back. I saw yesterday Sean McVay was addressing the media, and he looked down and he had a Ron Burgundy moment where he went down and he looked at it and he was like, well, he's going to be limited. He's not going to be limited. He's not going to be limited. I'm expecting Cooper Kupp to play. They opened up the 21-day practice window for him coming back from injury. He should be making his season debut this weekend. I'd be very surprised if he did not make a season debut against the Rams, or excuse me, against the Eagles when they host the Eagles this weekend, Sunday at 4:25. But I just know that you're going to have to be pretty stacked in the secondary. So this is a right time, right move decision by the Eagles. So I'm very happy to see that. As far as this season has gone as a whole, 4-0. I was listening to Jaws talk about this the other day, and breaking down the season in little quadrants. When you had 16 games, that's what you did. Now you're 4 games in. It's like when you assess yourself, what are you looking for? I look at this Eagles team. There are 2 things that I see this Eagles team doing that they have done already within their first 4 games that I see them doing for the rest of the year. Aside from the run game, because I think we all know the run game will always be there. It's a matter of whether or not the Eagles decide to take it out of their arsenal or not. I feel like this is the level of play we can expect from Jalen Hurts. The way he played against the Buccaneers, kind of up and down, and then the way he played in this most recent game. I feel like this is the way we can see him play, the way he played against the Commanders. I feel like that's something we can take away from the last 2 games from Jalen Hurts that we can expect for the rest of the season. After that, I really look at this pass rush and how money this pass rush has been. We listed off the numbers for you yesterday with Jalen Carter and what he's been able to do. The only person with more pressures than him is Aaron Donald, and Aaron Donald has a load more of snaps than he does. That's just your interior. And this game, Jalen Carter, for the most part, was quiet. Jordan Davis was quiet. The guy that was getting the headlines was Nicholas Morrow coming up there with the sacks, 3 sacks in the game. Fletcher Cox, we'll let you see the injury report coming up in a second, but Fletcher Cox dealing with a back issue. Fletcher Cox was dominant. Without coming up with huge, big, sexy numbers, Fletcher Cox was dominant in this game against the Commanders. Taking up double teams, Jalen Carter doing something similar, allowing guys on the outside, even Josh Sweat, who got credited for the sack, even though it looked like they tripped up over their own people. He was right there to make to take credit for it at least. But you're going to get pressure from guys on the outside, guys like your linebackers, for instance, too, when you have defensive tackles taking up double teams. So I'm not going to be looking at the stat sheet when it comes to sacks and this Eagles defensive line, the Eagles defensive tackles in particular. I'm going to be looking at just overall who's getting home. I'm going to be looking at hits. I'm going to be looking at pressures, because those are going to be mounting when you talk about what this Eagles defensive line can do. And if everybody else is going to eat and feast on that because of the player DTs, then they've done their job. I know it might be easy. Like a guy like why am I blanking on his name? Jeez. Javon Hargrave. And watching him play here over the last couple of years, and now he's obviously out there in San Francisco, but he would get the double-digit sack numbers. He would have seasons, and that's great. And people would almost look down on it because he's not that good at the run, but he's good at the pass. Well, he's good at his role. And what people cancel out when they try to take away the idea of him having double digits in sacks for a defensive tackle doesn't make any sense to me, because that's his role. He's getting home. That's what he's designed to do in this defense. When you're not sending blitzes, especially last year with Jonathan Gannon and the year prior, when you're not sending blitzes, you got to rely on your defensive tackles and your defensive line as a whole, making sure they're getting in the backfield and wreaking havoc. Sean Desai is not afraid to dial up that blitz. And I love the fact that he's not afraid to dial up that blitz. And I feel like he doesn't get overly aggressive with it. He's not going to let a opposing quarterback pick him apart with it. We'll see how they handle it with Matthew Stafford this week. But for me, I think that everything is clicking for this Eagles defense. Now, this game against the Commanders isn't exactly the best example of it, considering that they go to OT with 30-plus points, right? But for me, the writing's on the wall for this pass rush in particular. The rest of the defense, I hope it falls into place. But if there's two things I'm taking away from this Eagles season to this point, the first 4 games, and I'm saying they can do this for the whole season, I'll just take away the run. I think that's the most obvious thing. They can run the football for the rest of the year. I'm going to just omit that. But the passing game from Jalen Hurts, I think we can see with this kind of consistency, and the pass rush and getting into the backfield, causing pressures, quarterback hits, and, of course, the almighty sack as well. So I look forward to that. One thing that we haven't seen a lot of, as I mentioned earlier, was Jalen Hurts' ability to run the football. We know he can run the football. I've heard some conversation about him not looking as fast as he has in years past. I don't know if that's just because we're rarely seeing him run now, but I don't necessarily see a slower Jalen Hurts. But one thing he was asked about by Reuben Frank of NBC Sports Philadelphia yesterday was not running the football as much and whether or not that's a conscious effort this year to kind of be a little bit more protecting of himself. And here's what he had to say about it.
I just think that it hasn't been much an opportunity to do so. You know, I think other than scrambles and kind of some of those busted plays out of the pocket, haven't been really many design runs there.
But your approach to it hasn't changed. Is that accurate?
Then the defenses might be like spying you a little bit more this year, or taking away some of those lanes that you were able to exploit last year?
Yeah, I think there's always an attempt to, you know, do that and take away some of the bright spots of what we've been able to do of the past. But, you know, I mean, we got a O-line that's playing really well and running backs playing really well. So when those opportunities present themselves, we just have to take advantage of them.
Take advantage all you can, my friend. Take advantage all you can. Yeah, of course, obviously, whatever keeps him healthy. But if you're able to break off a run like he was able to do in the fourth quarter of Sunday's game against the Commanders, break it off. Keep that defense guessing. I haven't noticed too many quarterback spies. I mean, he's got the ability to do it, but he hasn't done it a lot this year. The one thing that just sticks out in my mind more than anything is that scramble he had to the right against the Buccaneers, where he had an opportunity to get the first down, and he slid 5 yards shy of the first down marker. And, of course, as I'm sure you all know by now, they mark it from where the slide starts, not where it stops. So it was like a 1 yard gain. It felt like when he had the opportunity to get a first down. That was a little overdoing it. For Jalen Hurts. That was a little overprotective. That was like a dream for anyone that says he runs too much. Protect yourself. That's what that was. That's the only thing that sticks out of my mind is a glaring, like, what the hell is he doing? I'm not one that minds when he runs. That's for sure. Eagles kick it off with the Rams this weekend on Sunday. By the way, here's your injury report for your Eagles from yesterday's practice. Your DNPs are Covey, Cox, and Juergens. Juergens we know about, as well as Tuli Pilotu. Did not practice as well with a tricep injury. As I mentioned earlier, Fletcher Cox has got the back issue. Britton Covey's in concussion protocol as of right now. This is a great sign, at least that he was practicing. Sidney Brown with the hamstring injury. He was a limited participant. And then Justin Evans with his neck issue and Quez Watkins with his hamstring were both full participants at practice yesterday. So good to see those guys are up and running. Let me tell you about the great people at MyBookie, MyBookie.ag. Check out all they have to offer at MyBookie.ag. And make sure you take advantage where you can get up to $200 cash bonus when you use promo code Farzy. That's promo code Farzy. Bet on anything, anytime, anywhere at MyBookie.ag. That's MyBookie.ag. You want to get a little action on football, college, or pro? Have at it at MyBookie.ag. Let the games begin and the fun begin at MyBookie.ag. So check them out right now and use promo code Farzy for $200, up to $200 cash bonus. You see it in the crawl right there with promo code Farzy. How about PHL Sports Nation, Philadelphia Sports Nation, enhancing your Philadelphia sports fan experience across all social media and blogs. That's PHLSportsNation.com. How about the incredible people at Sky Motorcars, skymotorcars.com. Check out all they have to offer. All of their incredible inventory at skymotorcars.com. Let's get into the chat check and start it off over on the, where did I start yesterday? Let's start on the JAKIB Sports channel today. Sean Kilrain, what's going on, buddy? Sorry to the Atlanta Braves. Absolutely. Go Sixers. Good morning, Farzy. Good morning, Go Sixers. Definitely rewriting the book. It's called The Book of Nola, Farzy. Let's go. I like it. King Pooty TV. I always say it. Great name, King Pooty TV. Got to be real mindful of Fletcher's snap count. I want him to be healthy and fresh down the stretch. He has taken a lot of snaps. I forget what was the number last week, but it was astronomical. It was similar to, I think it was last year's game against the Commanders, where the Eagles, I think was that the game that hit the panic button a little bit? And that's where they signed Linval Joseph and Ndamukong Suh. I think that was the game because Fletcher Cox was looking old. And then it's like, well, he's playing every down. So, yeah, it's not going to be a spring chicken exactly. But, yes, that's something that the Eagles absolutely have to monitor. But absolutely, go Birds, and go Birds indeed. Let's jump over to the Farzy Show chat, see how you guys are doing over here. April, hello. Sean Gillespie, hello. Let me go back to the top. Morning, Red October, bring on the Braves. I'm a pretty man. Good for you, Sean. Good for you. Go Sixers. Nola stepped up. You guys are both jumping on both chats. This is crazy. Farzy, how are you lining up the rotation against the Braves? Gabriel, what's up? Esguerra? I get that right? Gabriel. Suarez, Wheeler, Nola is how I'm doing it. Suarez gets the start. And then, yes, I mean, I know other people have said this, but Sanchez will be in case of emergency break glass type of situation there. But the way I would do it, Suarez is going to start game one. Actually, if it's me, I'm starting Sanchez. But my prediction is Suarez, Wheeler, Nola, maybe Sanchez, maybe Suarez again. That's the way I see it going. My prediction is Suarez gets game one against the Braves. Then you see Wheeler again, then Nola. What I would do is have Sanchez start. I mean, Sanchez is just your most consistent pitcher. Maybe Suarez needed that extra break. He got beat up a little bit in his last outing there, so not exactly his best stuff. So that scares the hell out of me. And you got to win game one. You got to win game one. The Phillies have done a great job of winning game one in the playoffs. The year they won the World Series, they did it in 2008, and now they're hopefully doing it again in this round of things, obviously. They did it last year. Do it again this year. But that's how I'm shaping it up there, Gabriel. Remember Shane Victorino hit the other postseason grand slam for the Phillies? Yeah, game 2 of the NLDS in 2008, Milwaukee. CC Sabathia. I was at that game. Oh, man. Thinking of it still gives me goosebumps. The way that crowd reacted, man, it was like a volcano erupted. It was like, we got you. CC Sabathia was the big trade deadline acquisition, and the Phillies just fed him his lunch, man. Oh boy, I always say this about that game. Getting his pitch count up was like there was a meeting of 45,000 fans in the parking lot. It'd be like, all right, this is our game plan, everyone. Every batter that sees more than 5 pitches, we lose our minds because we're driving up that pitch count. And then Brett Myers goes up there. He walks on a 9-pitch at bat. He fouls a couple away. CC Sabathia lost the strike zone. Shane Victorino hits the grand slam, and the place just went bonkers. And how about Shane Victorino tweeting out last night, quoting he retweeted or reposted the video of Stott's grand slam, and he just tweeted above it, "It's Bryson!" Absolutely awesome. Sean Kilrain, what a memory. What a memory. Stott with the grand slam shot. Deja vu all over again. Sean Kilrain. Ryan Kirking looks solid in the inning that he was in there, on point. Kid in my eyes is the missing piece. You agree, Farzy? I'll say this, man. Sir Anthony Dominguez is the missing piece that's going to stay missing. If Ryan Kerkering goes out there in his first postseason action, 9 pitches to get through the Marlins, this kid doesn't faze him. Yeah, whatever. Pitch in the Jersey Shore League. Okay. Move to Clearwater. Okay. Reading. AAA. Okay. Did he even pitch in AAA? Did he even pitch for Lehigh? They just elevated him right from there. That's an interesting thing. Because I don't know the answer to that, and I want to know the answer to that, and I'd like to give you that information. Oh, good. I didn't fat finger this. All right, here we go. Baseball reference, you got to be precise. Pots and pans. Show minors, you bastards. Yeah, AAA. Yeah, I did. Okay, good. Thank goodness. 1, 2, 3, 4. 4 different levels of minor league baseball, and the majors, and the postseason. Reading, Lakewood, Clearwater, Lehigh Valley. What the heck? Eastern, yeah, okay, that makes more sense. Never mind. I'm like seeing these other things that don't make any damn sense. 1, 2, 3, 4. That is insane. 5 levels of baseball for the 22-year-old. 5 levels of baseball in 1 year and the postseason. Have yourself a year, friend. Damn, son. He was drafted last year in the 5th round. That is insane. Oh, my goodness. So college, pitching in college. 2 years later, he's in the playoffs. Not even a year later, he's in the playoffs. That is the full story right there on him. That is pretty spectacular. What else we got? April. Good morning, April. Just want to say the home plate called an amazing game. One hell of a man. Mally, I concur. Doug Eddings is a kind and decent man. Mally, the Braves don't scare me. They don't scare me either. Why would they? Why would the Braves scare you? What, because they had a great regular season? Whatever. I think this series is going to have to come down to outslugging them, at least in 1 or 2 games. April, yeah, there was a lot of love for the fans last night. I'm sure we won't get the same love on the Fox broadcast. Who are we going to get? Are we going to get that John Smoltz fella again? Remember last year when everyone lost their minds over John Smoltz giving the Phillies a compliment, saying that they'd be the biggest surprising team if they were to win it all? I was like, I take that as a compliment. People took it as a slight. Like, they're not that good. They're just lucky. I didn't hear him say that. Sean Kilrange. Carl R. was looking at no damn T-shirt, Farzy. I agree. Mark and the neckline on OnlyFans, he'd be a millionaire in 3 days. Well, thank you. Yeah. I don't know if that's true. I'm not on there in either capacity. So I don't know what to tell you, but people were telling me on the old social media. And if it's on social media, it's got to be true. But if she is good for her. Good for her. You know, I don't judge. Braves do scare me, but it's a brand new season. Damn right, Sean Gillespie. Everyone's saying good morning. Mia Sanchez, good morning. Stott has a new top 10 moment in CBP history, and their song is growing on me now. Ring the bell. Magic number is now 11. You didn't like dancing on your own, dancing on my own? You didn't like that? Can I give an unpopular opinion? I was telling PJ this before the show, but I got to give it up. And I hate to play fun police. And I would never not go to an awesome party. You know what I mean? It does just strike me as so weird that in baseball they celebrate everything. It's so weird to me. And I know it's 162 games. I get it. I understand. But damn, I can't imagine in like in hockey, they won't even touch the conference trophy. You know? And in baseball, they're pouring champagne after making the wild card, right? And they're pouring champagne after winning the wild card. They're pouring champagne after the divisional round, the NLCS. I get, the championship series. I get, but can you imagine the Eagles after winning a wild card game going in the locker room and popping champagne? I can't imagine that. The Sixers, I can't imagine. It does strike me as odd. Okay. Hate to be fun, please. I have to give an unpopular opinion. That's my unpopular opinion. It's just weird to me. And then I enjoy the hell out of seeing Garrett Stubbs, seeing how many beers he could fit in his red overalls this time around. That I don't mind. Mally, Mark, can I get one more OG Kush? Oh, for sure. For our friend. Well, they're still friends at Freestone Farm CBD. Have him do Kush. There you go. Good morning. Ranger Danger is going to paint the corners. I hope so, Professor Dutch. Nice to see you in here after last night, too. April, same to you. Love seeing Orion pitch this April. I agree. Fuji, what's up, Fuji? Oh, it will be on TBS. Jeffrey Todd, Phillies Braves on TBS. Yes, thank you. I'm sorry. So that's good. That's good. I don't mind Fox. TBS is fine. I'll deal with it. T-Bro, Stubby filling up his home run tank with them beers. I saw that. I went, oh, Stubbs going to hit like 4 grand slams now. All them beers he's fitting in there. Good for him. Thanks, everybody in the chat. You guys are great as per usual. Always good catching up with you guys. Let's get to the morning rush brought to you by Sky Motorcars, skymotorcars.com. Eagles will be back in practice today. Look forward to seeing what comes out of that, especially with Bradley Roby. See what goes on with him. See what capacity the Eagles are using him at in practice. So I'll cross my fingers for that. Thanks for watching. Thanks for listening. This has been the Farzy Show, presented by MyBookie, mybookie.ag. Jim Hyder produced the program. Be back with you guys tomorrow to preview Eagles, Rams for the weekend and Game 1. Look forward to more information coming out about start time and your number one guy. Who's going to be the starting pitcher for that series for Game 1. Talk to you guys tomorrow. See you then. Bye.